Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of Joe Boo's day job, as well as my other channels, Cooking and Tailgating with Joe Boo, and Joe Boo's, of course, the Sports Report. It's a couple weeks before Christmas. This year has wound down. I apologize about the noise with the CNC machine doing some prints and things for Christmas. And I have an order for 3 large cutting boards that they want to engrave. So what I'm doing is, these are actually, I call them rainbows because there's so many different colors. Because I'm putting walnut in here, there's oak, there's cherry, there's mahogany, there's maple, and we just get random widths and sizes and we put them all together, glue them up overnight, let it dry out, and then I'll run them through my thickness sander. I love that machine over there. That is really incredible. It's quiet. That thing is so quiet that sometimes I turn off the dust collector and you don't hear it run, and I don't remember to turn it off because it is literally that quiet. So I took a bunch of wood that I had here. I've cut them down. I've got 25 inches long by 2 inches thick, nice straight pieces. I joined them on the edge to get them started. And then I can just kind of lay out pieces here. So I'll cut it down. It'll be 24 by 16 will be the final dimension. We'll round it over and we'll put it on the CNC machine, so that way we can engrave whatever name that they want on there. And then we'll take epoxy resin with black in it and we'll pour that into it, so that way it'll fill those in, sand it down, so that way you'll see just the lettering pop out on it like it's an ink stain. So I'm going to glue these up, put the clamp on it, and then I can call it a night. I've already got one glued up already. We'll take care of the next one. Well, we are back. It is the next day. We have let these blanks clamped overnight. You can see the glue has dried out. You can see the beautiful colors that we have. And what I'm going to do is, instead of putting these, I could put these through the planer. My planer is a 15-inch planer. And so, I'm sorry, yeah, it's 15-inch planer. I could put those through the planer and plane them, but you'll get the knife marks. The nice thing is I have my thickness sander here that can actually go 24 inches in directly, and you can actually reverse it because it's open on the end, and do things up to 48 inches wide. So if you actually had a real big tabletop, you could do that. And the one thing I'm going to do here in the shop today is I love this machine. And what I did, I set it up the way it was supposed to be set up and things. But I'm going to actually take the cutter head and turn it around. And the reason being is it actually has a foot pedal that you use. You pop that up, it's got wheels so you can move it around. I want to actually have the wheels on this side, because then that means the machine can actually slide closer to the wall. And of course it'll be easier to get to the foot pedal to adjust it and things. So that way it'll give me a little more space in the workshop here and a little bit more flexibility when I want to move it. But I'll run these through here. It'll take longer to do that than the planer, because of course it's a sanding head that will go through and sand it all the way out, but you won't get any chips. And the thing is sometimes some of the maple will chip, and you don't want to get the chip marks, because then you're going to have to sand them out. So I've got a 36 grit in there to start with, and then I'll change the belt up to like an 80 grit, and then I'll do the final sanding, of course, with the random orbital sander. And we're also going to put this on the Inventables over here, and we're going to end up putting names engraved in here, and then we'll epoxy it. So these are going to look really, really good. So I'm going to take them out of the clamps, get them ready to sand, and go on to the next step. so there we have it. We have our blanks done. We've sanded this with 80 grit sandpaper right here like that. We have to get the lettering that's going to go on here, and my son will go ahead and program it into it so it'll cut that out. We'll get some epoxy resin with some black, the black dye to go into it, so that way we'll put the letters in here, it'll stand out, and then we'll sand all that off and round over the edges, and then we just use butcher block oil on it to protect them. But that's it. I think that's actually really pretty. You see all the different grains of wood in there, the colors and everything else. And once you put the oil on these, it'll really bring out the color into them. So what I'm going to do, basically this is cleaning out my workshop closet, so to speak. All the pieces that were left over, what we've done is I've went ahead and cut them all uniformly consistent, and some are longer than others, but we'll go ahead and just make a bunch of different butcher blocks or cutting boards out of them that'll be smaller and use up this wood, because wood is such a precious resource. You don't want to waste it, and so we're going to make sure we use up all of this beautiful wood, and hopefully it'll last a good long time. You can see we're just taking different random pieces and colors and putting them together, and glue those up overnight, run them through the sanders and things, and we'll end up having really nice cutting boards. And what we can also do too is we can also do these so that way they'll be like a handle. In fact, I might do that since we have varying lengths. Is we'll take some of the longer sections and glue them up with the shorter ones so we can make a handle, make it like a handle to be able to have like a cheese board. So that way you got the handle and you can put a hole in here and hang it on the wall. That's another idea of things that we're going to do just to see how they do it, and again to keep from wasting any wood. Wood is so precious, we don't want to lose it. All right, good people, I'll talk to you later. Peace. All right, so there we have it. We have our blanks done. We've sanded this with 80 grit sandpaper right here like that. We have to get the lettering that's going to go on here, and my son will go ahead and program it into it so it'll cut that out. We'll get some epoxy resin with some black, the black dye to go into it, so that way we'll put the letters in here, it'll stand out, and then we'll sand all that off and round over the edges, and then we just use butcher block oil on it to protect them. But that's it. I think that's actually really pretty. You see all the different grains of wood in there, the colors and everything else. And once you put the oil on these, it'll really bring out the color into them. So what I'm going to do, basically this is cleaning out my workshop closet, so to speak. All the pieces that were left over, what we've done is I've went ahead and cut them all uniformly consistent, and some are longer than others, but we'll go ahead and just make a bunch of different butcher blocks or cutting boards out of them that'll be smaller and use up this wood, because wood is such a precious resource. You don't want to waste it, and so we're going to make sure we use up all of this beautiful wood, and hopefully it'll last a good long time. You can see we're just taking different random pieces and colors and putting them together, and glue those up overnight, run them through the sanders and things, and we'll end up having really nice cutting boards. And what we can also do too is we can also do these so that way they'll be like a handle. In fact, I might do that since we have varying lengths. Is we'll take some of the longer sections and glue them up with the shorter ones so we can make a handle, make it like a handle to be able to have like a cheese board. So that way you got the handle and you can put a hole in here and hang it on the wall. That's another idea of things that we're going to do just to see how they do it, and again to keep from wasting any wood. Wood is so precious, we don't want to lose it. All right, good people, I'll talk to you later. Peace. All right, so we're in the next phase of dealing with our cutting boards. We actually have our design that we're going to put into this, and we're going to go ahead and get these cut out. So this is where it gets to be fun. It's been so long since I've really been in here in the workshop. Fortunately, Michael has been setting up the programs and stuff for me. I've literally forgotten how to go ahead and do these things. It's kind of crazy. But the machine is actually oriented itself. Got the touch probe in there. And now we're getting ready to turn this thing on to get it cutting. Well, here we have it. It is done carving this out. And now we've got 2 more to do. And what we're going to do with these are we'll clean up the marks and stuff that are in here. I don't know if you can see these. See, it's Delta Sigma Theta, and her signature Donna right there. And so what we'll do is we'll take epoxy resin with some black dye in it, and we'll put that in here, and then we'll sand it off so that way it's just the lettering that's in there. I think that's actually really cool. Got another one in here to start setting up to get ready to do its cuts. Now, unfortunately, that took about 4 hours to do that engraving and stuff on there. That one's a lot more detailed than the other ones we have to do. The other ones hopefully won't take quite as long. I don't know, maybe it's just thinking and it's just waiting because I'm still looking. We'll give it a minute. There it goes. I was expecting to start right away, but see, it's kind of complex. It's got all this detail that it's got to figure out. So, I was just not patient enough. And that's all I have to say about that. I'll be doing this for, we're going to speed this up. The next 6 hours and 45 minutes. Here's a little taste. That's okay. Well, hello, good people. Mark Holtz here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of Joe Blue's Day Job. I'm here actually in my workshop right now, and it's just before Christmas, and we're coming up on 2 years that I've actually had my Inventables. And the thing that I got my Inventables for, believe it or not, I have yet to do any of it. I originally bought it because I was going to do production work, you know, making cabinets, figuring I'll do layouts and things like that. But what's actually happened with it is I've done actually more artwork than anything else. More prints and things like that. I got the Vector software, which was before Inventables got their own 3D software for doing stuff, which I haven't really done quite yet with theirs since I purchased the Vector and we got used to doing it. But I will say that this has been an incredible investment that I've made. And the great thing was when I bought it, I ended up getting, through a firm, 0% interest. And I bought it at the end of the year, which they had the Christmas sales on it. So I feel like I got a great bargain, and I love the stuff that I'm doing. So what I'm doing right now, I've actually got the machinist set up here. I don't have the dust collector on at the moment, but a couple of things, observations that I will say is, I am so glad that I got the Pro version. For me, now again, I don't have the dust collector on right now because I want to be able to give you what the sound like is on here, as well as being able to speak with you guys. I'm glad I got the Pro version, if for no other reason that it has the built-in power head. I'm sure that the ones where you use the trim routers are fine and do the job, but with the artwork that we're doing, and we're doing butcher blocks right now, this is, a butcher block. Now, it took about 4 hours to do the details in here and the signature and stuff on here. Love it. We'll end up taking epoxy resin black, and we'll end up filling that in so that way it'll really pop. The one that we're doing now, The one that we're doing now, if you hadn't sped it up, is a 13-hour cut. 13 hours. Now we have sped it up to 200% speed-wise, but it's still 6 hours and 40 minutes. So first thing, I don't know if running a trim router for 6 hours and 40 minutes will be good. Second thing, because that's a production motor on here, it's actually a lot faster than the non-pro version. Third observation I will say about having the Inventables is, get yourself a dust collector. Again, a shop vacuum is very, very noisy, and I don't know that you want to have a shop vacuum running for 6 or 7 hours. It will literally be dead, I'm sure, between a couple of cuts and a week or two of using it. There is a learning curve on this. It is not, when you see something like this, you want to take it out of the box, and you want to go bam, and you want to be doing expert style prints. Well, unfortunately, it does take some time to learn. Now, I will say Inventables, incredible company, great customer service. We've had, there's sensors that are in here that have to basically touch the hone so it knows where it's going. I had one of those broken. They got me a new one here free of charge in 2 days. So the customer service with Inventables, the machine itself and the abilities that it has, I have been able to do literally incredible stuff. I'll give you an example. And again, this is not exactly what this machine was made to do. It's actually made for doing cabinet work. I probably could have gotten away with getting a much smaller unit because the size of the bed on this is actually 4 foot by 4 foot, and I built the area so I can put a whole sheet of plywood down and cut out stuff. But being able to do something that is literally, and this is a friend of mine that just passed away, with this much detail is unbelievable. And so for me, the stuff that this thing can do is it's just unbelievable. And it's actually transformed my business and what I do. At some point, I'll sit down and figure out how to do cabinets and stuff with it. But for me, it's just nice to be able to do these pieces for people. And it really pays for itself. The payments on this, just doing a couple of these cutting boards have literally paid for this each month. And if I wanted to, it's nice to know that if I wanted to do production work with cabinets, I can do that. Drop a sheet of plywood on there, put the dimensions in, it's going to cut that stuff out. It's just that my business has evolved because of the capabilities of the machine. And so with that being said, I'm going to go back here and I'm going to go drink me some coffee while the machine does the work. Well, so here's what we're doing here. I have taken my epoxy resin that I have. It's a 2-part mix. It's 50-50, and I added a little bit of black colorant into it, and basically I have poured it into all of the grooves here. Let me bring you guys a little closer. And using the heat gun to get out the air bubbles, and then we're going to let this cure for a couple of days, and then we'll basically sand it all flush on the countertop, on the edge here. We'll start out with a 250 grit, and once we get it down flat, we'll then go back through and go to 350, 320 and 400 and so on, and basically sand and polish that to get it real nice and well finished in here. And that'll highlight the signature. So we got Kirby and Tanny, we got Delta Sigma Theta and Donna, and we got Maze over here. So these will end up being completely functional to use as a cutting board right there, but the letters will be filled in. You don't have to fill the letters in, but the only problem with not filling the letters in is you now have a crack where it can hold food and stuff into it, and that's where bacteria and all can grow. So by filling this in and sealing it, it's going to make it stand out more, and it's also going to keep it safer. So that's it. I'm done. All I have to do is let this dry till probably Tuesday, and then I'll be able to sand and polish it out. So I appreciate you guys. Peace.